there he is. All right, so where's Gronk retiring to after you broke that story? What's he going to do next?
He's going to play in the USFL for the Guardians with Jeff Fisher. That's the plan. I think working out some contract stuff.
Boy, Jeff Fisher really lit up that league this year, didn't he? Holy moly! What was he like, 3-6 or something like that, or I don't know what it was.
Not only is the record bad, but there was something about like timeouts, and he people joking that like he thinks he can save the timeouts from game to game, so he's trying to like accumulate them or something. Oh man!
Yeah.
I swear, Orlando, you put me and you in the USFL, we win more games than Jeff Fisher.
I mean, Jeff Fisher, brother. Wow, talk about a guy that fell from grace, like big time, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I was really excited for Gronk. We had a great conversation yesterday, and multiple, talks leading up to it. And I've known Rob for a while now, and I don't think the average fan knows how introspective of a guy he is, because he has this larger than life persona, and he's such a fun guy, fun loving guy. And, you see that, but also there's like this really low key chill side to Rob. And, when we talked yesterday, I just heard a guy who was happy, very content with his decision. He's 33 years old. He's got a lot of other interests outside of football and investing, and I think he's going to be really successful regardless of what he does. But I did hear a guy who was really happy when we spoke yesterday.
Yeah, I get the feeling this was real. You know why? Brady brought him out of retirement. He was kind of tired. You could tell that he was kind of tired of the Patriot way, all that stuff, because he knew that he could have a little fun in Tampa, which he did. Obviously, he and Brady would do that silly little show every week with the in the chairs and answering all the questions and all that kind of stuff. But you could tell also that that last year in New England, he looked so beat up and slowed down at that point that I thought no way he would come back. And yet he came back to play 2 more years. I would imagine his body has had enough already at this point. And for him to quit on Brady, that tells you he's had enough already, because you could tell he loves that dude and he wants to play with that dude. So his body must be telling him, yeah, brother, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah, his body. Yeah, exactly right. And when he retired for the first time a few years back, his body was completely shot. And we've had a lot of conversations about what it was like for him, going, talking to the doctors and learning about what he needed to do just to get back to feeling okay every day before football even was a possibility again. He's a massive mountain of a man, but when you're that big, you take a lot of these hits on the knees. I think his back, his obviously a ton of head hits. So
he had a plate in his back coming out of Arizona State, dude.
Yeah, when he came out of Arizona, he broke his back in college. So these injuries predate the NFL. This is going on over a decade.
That's why he fell in the draft, actually.
Right.
Everybody loved him. Everybody loved him, but they didn't want to take a chance because he already had a plate in his back when he was coming out of school, and people were like, "Holy shit, this guy!" And look what he. Yeah, I was talking about this earlier. I remember Jason Witten was a great 2-way tight end. Mark Bavaro was an effing monster that could block and catch. Because we could talk about Darren Waller, and we could talk about all kinds of the Travis Kelce's of the world and all that. And they can challenge Gronk as a pass catcher. But when we talk about playing the complete tight end position, he might be the best of all time when we talk about the blocking aspects. Because I remember a young Gronkowski throwing defensive ends to the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not normal shit, dude. That's just tight ends don't throw defensive ends to the ground. And Bavaro and him and even a Jason Witten, they could overpower those kind of guys.
Yeah, Gronk was a true all-purpose tight end.
Yes.
The stats are ungodly, incredible. But that also overshadows the blocking, especially to your point early in his career. I think it was also his mentality this is a guy who, again, you see all the grandiose stuff, and you forget that like he's a football player. You know,
He's
he
blue
was a
collar.
gritty football player. That's why his teammates loved him. I've talked to Leonard Fournette, Tom Brady about Gronk, and just the amount of respect that they have for him is tremendous.
All right, let me switch sports. That's the beauty of having an insider like yourself that breaks NFL and NBA stories. So break the story here. Bradley Beal, you know what he's doing, right? He's staying, right? He's staying in Loserville, right? That's what it is. Because why would he say, I know what I'm doing? He's not LeBron James, dude. He's not going to take the Washington Wizards fans and the organization to the brink to then say, see ya. No, that's not who he is. He's staying, right? Tell me that, right?
I do believe he's staying. I do also have a video coming out today saying my favorite fit for Bradley Beal is South Beach. It's my favorite fit. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Well, I mean, outside of Kyrie Irving, who isn't a fit here? I mean, obviously, a flake like Kyrie Irving can't handle an organization like Miami.
You know, Pat Riley would love having Kyrie.
No way.
Okay.
No way. Kyrie can't play here. He's not responsible enough. He's not committed enough to play here.
No, I think with Bradley Beal, he's 28, so he's still a young player. He's still in his prime. He came into the NBA. He was one of the younger players ever drafted out of Florida. But also, you mentioned LeBron. LeBron had already been on basically, I guess you could say, three teams by the time he was 29 or 30. So, he had already done this act many times. I don't think Bradley Beal is going to do that. I don't think he has any real tangible interest in leaving Washington. And there's been, no player, especially one of his stature, has been rumored to be traded or leaving more so over the last 5 years than him. And I still don't think it's going to happen.
And yet no player shows more of a commitment to their city than Bradley Beal, where he's out in events, he's dedicating courts, he's doing all. I mean, the guy, he's like Damian Lillard. It's like they don't show. We talk all this shit, and yet those two guys never have given you any ammo to say that they would be leaving, thinking about it, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it kind of gets to that point. All right. So anything else change? A lot of us are talking about Jeremy Grant, that if they can't get Donovan Mitchell, and if he doesn't really want to get out, or they can't let him out of his deal, Jeremy Grant would be that second level type of star to go after. What are you hearing about Jeremy Grant?
Yeah, Jeremy Grant is someone that I think most NBA fans, average NBA fans, didn't know about before he went to Detroit. And he's a really good player. He's not a number one guy, but he is a legit number two option. He can defend a little bit. He's got that 6'9" wiry game. He can really shoot the three. I think the appeal with him for Miami is that you could play him with or without Bam. You could play him in a big lineup or a small lineup, and he gives tremendous flexibility offensively because of his offensive skill set. So I'm a big Jeremy Grant fan. He's had a better career than I ever thought he would have, and it's my understanding that he is available. I think there's a lot of stuff that could happen here the next 36 hours with the draft. Does Detroit want to try to move up and secure a guy like Jaden Ivey? Do they move back? What about Oklahoma City? Are they really committed to Chet Holmgren like everyone thinks? So there's all these little rumors and chess pieces here. Sacramento's another team that can move. But I do think Jeremy Grant is available.
Do you trade Tyler Hero for him?
Oh man, I'm so pro Tyler, and he has such a great season. I wouldn't trade Hero for him.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you know that's what's going to have to happen.
Yeah.
There's no way that's the trade chip that Miami has.
Yeah.
They're not just going to take Duncan and a couple of first rounders. They're not going to do that.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I still think Tyler's upside. I don't think.
Okay. So let me run this by you. Okay. So if you can't get what I really want is Donovan Mitchell, as you know. And obviously, you keep telling me that that is not happening right now. Okay, so if I can't get my star, then a Jeremy Grant's not bad, a John Collins,
Yeah.
something like that. But what I like about that is, and I heard now, I saw that my boy Keith over at the Sixers, damn it, yeah, he's reporting that they're willing to trade Thibault to free up money to give Tucker a 3-year, $30 million deal. If I'm the Heat, I'm signing Tucker, and if I can't get my will, I get Grant. That way, I don't have to burn out Tucker, and I bring Grant, Oladipo, and Caleb Martin off the bench. Oladipo becomes my sixth man after I traded Tyler Hero. Caleb becomes my two-way player, and Jeremy Grant becomes my forward. And all of a sudden now I've got a posse coming off the bench that is just nasty and ready to go. And I think it makes the Heat so much better. And you can actually take care of PJ and keep him as fresh as possible till you get to the playoffs by using Jeremy will be a bench player, but he'll be a bench player that's getting 30 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What about Strus and Robinson?
No, Robinson's probably gone in a deal.
Okay.
He's gone. You have to open up cap space.
You
You have no choice. You have to get rid of Robinson, right? And Strus is Robinson playing a little defense now. So I'd rather have Strus over Robinson because he's more complete. Robinson, Tyler, and some picks are gone this offseason.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Yeah, I don't hate that. That would give you a lot of length. Grant adds a lot of length. That's nice.
Yeah. And Riley, dude, he's in love with length. Any player that's long, I'm going after that. That's my guy right there. That's Riley because
I like the idea of serving Tucker at this stage in his career. I thought he wore down. To be honest, at parts during the season. I think that really long, sustained title run with the Bucks took a lot out of him at his age.
I agree, but you have to bring him back because he's too important to what you do and setting the example. And you got to eat the back end of that contract. See, my thing, and I just did a little thing before you came on. Jimmy and Lowry, you signed your death warrant, dude.
Yeah,
you don't have 4 or 5 years. Your window is next year. Yeah. Probably its peak next year. That's it. It was this year and next year. 2024, you're already gambling at that point. So you're better off keeping Tucker. And yeah, the back end of those contracts are going to suck. But if you're going to make the run, you need to make it next year already. This coming season here has to be the run for Miami. And Pat Riley is another one. He wants to kind of finish this job before he walks off into the sunset. Well, dude, if you don't go for it this offseason, I don't think you'll ever finish it, and you'll have to restart again. That's just me.
I think the window. I would agree. Your best chance it was probably this past season, maybe another, perhaps one more. And
no more than that. You can't push.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. All right. One more thing before I let you go. What happens with this whole Daniel Snyder mess?
Oh God,
with the NFL. I mean, because obviously their asses are on the line for a lot more than Snyder. Because I think they would love to throw Snyder under the bus, but they're looking to cover up some other stuff there. Obviously,
Anders or the NFL.
The NFL.
Yeah, the NFL would exactly. I said that earlier today. In the NFL's mind, making Daniel Snyder the scapegoat and having everyone focus on just him would be tremendous. But there's a lot more layers here that I think are still going to keep coming out. It seems like every week or two there's more. And the amount of cover that this guy's been, it's been 2 decades of him. So the amount of cover up you think that has happened during this time is outrageous. He to me is going to be, and I thought Stephen Ross was in real trouble. And I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but I think the timeline on this thing is getting sped up. And Daniel Snyder is really going to be the first guy since Donald Sterling to be forced out of ownership. I don't know how. I don't know what the timeline is, but I don't know how he keeps his team.
And I just keep thinking Nino Brown in court. Yeah. That's Daniel Snyder. If I'm going down, I'm taking everybody with me. That's to me, Daniel Snyder is Nino Brown. Yeah. Like he's going to take if the Cash Money brothers are going down, then everybody else is going down. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of get that feeling that dude is going to want to do that because that's who that guy is.
He is desperate.
Oh, no, it's just Snyder looks like the weasel that takes the ball to the park and then he didn't get picked. Yeah. So he gets pissed and grabs the ball and goes home. You know what I mean? It's just kind of that's the weasel he reminds me of. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of feel like he knows he's guilty. He did all kinds of crap, but he's not just going to lay the sword on his stuff. He'll then let it out and then take everybody else with him because that just kind of what rubs me the way he is. You know what I mean?
I completely agree. And again, I don't know how he comes out of this alive per se in the NFL.
I'm with you there. All right. And plus if he's stealing from the other guys, that's it. That's
another level.
That's it. They might send somebody to take him out. Actually, they might send Jeff Gillooly with a bat to take him out. You know what I'm saying? That's you never know. All right, what are you working on there on the Schultz report throughout the week so folks can check you out?
Yeah, well, I mean, the Gronk thing was big. That was a big story, and I was fortunate enough to do that. Now you start to get into camps coming up in the next end of July. You got some big players who have not signed extensions. Deontay Johnson, McLaurin, Samuel, DK. So we're just interested to see what goes on there.
And by the way, the second most interesting part of the NBA season, the offseason.
The offseason, of course.
It's the playoffs, the offseason, and then the regular season is the most boring part.
Yeah, that's well said.
Yeah, so it's amazing. All right, follow him on Twitter at Schultz_report and catch him every week here with our redrecover.com Schultz report. As always, Jordan, thank you, my man. We'll catch up next week, my friend.
Thanks, so. Okay, bye. Be good.
You got it. There you go. Jordan Schultz, always getting it done, baby. It's our redrecover.com Schultz report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.